the enigmatic entrepreneur whose words will make you sure. Know, trust, and believe. The master teacher has come to help you succeed. The gem dropper, the truth speaker, the voice in the universe that will bring you to your highest peak. Welcome to the Get High on Motivation show with Mimi the Motivator, your favorite motivator's favorite motivator.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, love bugs. It is your favorite motivator's favorite motivator, Mimi the Motivator. Welcome to the Get High on Motivation show, where we come together every week to get our mind, body, spirit, and our finances together, because those are the 4 pillars of wealth, and we deserve to be wealthy. And if you are not satisfied with your level of wealth in life, in any area of your life, not just your bank account, then you have tuned into the right show, because today we are going to talk about the keys to unlocking what is inside of you. So as always, I'm going to creep and peep at my tea bag and see what it got for us after I take a sip. All right. Today's tea bag says, the principal ingredient of life is love. The principal ingredient of life is love. That's beautiful, isn't it? I just think it's beautiful just to hear it. I'm going to have to say it one more time just because I like the way it says. All right. It says, the principal ingredient of life is love. We think it's money. We think it's all these other things, but it is not. It is love. They say that love conquers all. Love is a very strong, I don't even know the word, not emotion. It's a strong, I don't know why all these bad words are coming to mind, like venom, poison. But what it is I'm trying to think of a serum. Love is a serum. Love is a very strong serum that if it is applied to any person or to any situation, it will change things. If you take a broken person and apply some extra love to that person will be transformed. That person will be renewed. The same thing with a plant. I love plants, y'all. I'm a plant mama. I know I got my fur baby mamas out there, but I'm a plant mama. Any plant mamas out there? And I am known for taking a plant that was dying and bringing it back to life. And all I do is, in my head, is I just love on it. I just love on the plant, and I give the plant what it needs. It needs some water. It needs some proper sunlight. Sometimes too much sunlight. You got to monitor that thing, because real love is really paying attention to what's working and what's not working. That's the same thing in relationships with any person or any living being, because a plant is a living being. That's why real plant parents know to talk to their plants, because plants need love. Just the way your animals need love, your children need love, your co-workers need love. The people going down the street cutting you off, they need love. Just look at their faces. If their faces is all turned up and looking crazy, it's because that person is in need of love. Sprinkle some love out there. As you know, I like to call it good juju gravy. Go out there and spread some good juju gravy around on the experiences that you're already a part of. Sow more love into the organizations that you are a member of. Are you just attending for obligation, or are you attending out of love? Are you contributing out of obligation, or are you contributing out of love? Because people know the difference. People can feel the difference. People can see the difference. Even a blind person can see when someone is doing something that is not from a loving place. So let's consider how we can operate more from a place of love and give more love. The person that is crying and fussing and cussing the most, that is a clear sign I need love. That's what they're saying. I need love. I need attention. So how about give them that versus ignoring them? You don't have to argue and fight back. Or if you're going to fight back with love. You know, some people just really need a hug. There's so many people who have not had a hug in a long time because they don't have anybody to hug them. Or we've been in this whole stupid pandemic thing and people are afraid to touch each other. We need love, y'all. Love conquers everything. If you think about when you're having a really rough time with somebody, usually the reason we're having a rough time with them is because we're operating from a place of fear. And fear is the opposing force of love. So fear is the venom and love is the serum. When we operate from a place of fear, nasty stuff comes out of our mouth. When we operate from a place of love, we can send that same message without the sting. So I'm going to remind us that the principal ingredient of life is love. I just think about, some people think money is everything and they allow that to be the wind in their sail to drive all their decisions. And they typically end up being unhappy. But that's because they're not allowing love to lead the way. Because what if you really loved yourself? How would you treat yourself? If you really loved, I'm talking about loved you, the way you love other people, how would you treat yourself? And how you know it is how do you treat the people that you love? What are the things that you do to them to prove to them that you love them? What if you turned around and did some of those same things for you? Show you that you love you. There's so many things that we can apply this to. It's just like my brain is running rampant right now of ways where we can apply this ingredient of love. If I really love my vision, if I really love my business, I'm going to show up a little bit differently than if I am just doing it for the money. What are you operating from? Are you doing what you do for the money? Are you doing it for the love? For the love of your community, for the love of your family, for the love of your children, for the love of your grandchildren's grandchildren that you have not even met yet and who do not exist. When you have that strong of love, you operate differently. You show up differently. You probably just love differently in general. I think we need more people who are loving out here. More people who are unafraid to share and show their love. Some of us shelter our love because we're afraid to get hurt. That's fear. That's not love. Be okay with saying I love you to someone and not expecting them to say it back, because that's not what it's about. Love is not a business exchange. Now, it would be pleasant that if love can be in exchange everywhere we go, but that's not always going to be the case. But it is our responsibility to be sure that we are pouring love into the places, to the people, to the experiences that we are a part of. But most importantly, to be pouring love into ourselves. How can you pour more love into you? How can you pour more love into your business? And even if you're not the boss and you are a 9-to-5 person, how can you pour more love into your role? If you are a homemaker, how can you pour more love into keeping the house together and keeping the family together, even if the family is just 2 dogs? How can we start operating with more love, where love is what people see on us? So people will know, like that's a word that they associate with. Oh, he's so loving. She's so loving. Wouldn't that be a great thing for people to say about you behind your back? Versus, he's so, when you can't find that word, you say, she's so flaky. What if we were behind people's back saying that they were loving? And what if people were saying the same about us? We get to dictate that. We are the narrators of our own story. So let's start narrating a more loving story in our lives. Are you with that, love bugs? I think we got at least one nugget so far to start being 1% better in our lives. So just in case this is your first time tuning in, let me introduce myself. I am Mimi the Motivator, a master teacher. I am a coach, a holistic coach. I work with my clients' mind, body, spirit, and finances so that way we can get it all together because it's all connected. And one thing that we really work on, those of us who listen to this show, is we work on being 1% better in one area of our life every single day. We're not trying to make leaps and bounds. We're not trying to do 360 in one day or 360 in 30 days. Now, I do got something that can kind of help that out. But our goal is to become 1% better in one area of our life. That's just moving a smidget. That's just doing something slightly better or thinking slightly better, being more in control, more aware, more present. Just a little bit, right? And so today what we're going to do is we're going to operate from a place of love a little more and not from that fear spot. We're going to pour more love into anything and everything that we are connected to. Just for today. How about that? Yes, I see Miss Kim Connor is with me this morning. She says she's with it. Thank you for always tuning in and tapping in with us. I love it, love it, love it. All right. So let's get to these keys to unlocking what it is inside of you. Do you realize that inside of an acorn, there is a whole entire forest, right? And I'm sorry if I'm redundant. I'm not sorry because we learn from repetition. If there is a whole forest inside of an acorn, what exists inside of you? We have to unlock what's inside of you. There's so much more inside of you. There's so much more abundance. It's living inside of you. It's not out there. It's awaiting you to be unlocked. It's like unlocking another level of yourself. Just like we did when we played the video games and you do certain things and it unlocks another level. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you haven't played any video games. When we unlock that next level, it broadens what can happen to us. It broadens what we can do. It broadens what we can have. Because currently we can only be, do, and have from the space that where we are now. From the level that we're on now. So if you're ready to level up, here are 6 keys to make that happen. The first one is reflection. We must reflect on where we are, where we desire to be, and how far we've come along. Don't reflect on what you've done bad. Who cares? Unless you are reflecting on the lesson that you have learned from it. Now that is a proper reflection, reflecting on what we've learned, reflecting on what we have accomplished. I just gave one of my clients a journal homework assignment. Now, typically, I always have my clients do gratitude journals, but this client has given me a new thing to do, which is an accomplishment journal. What if every day, at the end of the day, we wrote down what we have accomplished? Even if it was something as small as I woke up on time today. I ate 3 meals today. I got outside and walked for 10 minutes. I hit my deadlines. I sent all my emails out. I cleaned out my email box. Whatever that may look like for you. But we have to know what it is that we desire to do. We have to know where we are. We have to reflect. We need to reflect because reflecting on the positive things about ourselves, first of all, will grow our self-worth. It will grow our self-esteem. It will grow our confidence. So that way, when we wake up the next morning, we show up just a little bit taller, a little bit brighter, a little bit wiser. And all this comes from reflecting. Reflecting is also evaluating the day. What could I have done better? What would have served my client better? What would have made my boss not fuss at me today? Whatever it may be, we need to reflect. We cannot ignore what is going on before us or the trail that we are creating behind us. We must reflect. I encourage you to reflect at a minimum every quarter. So every 3 months, reflect on the past 3 months. How do you feel about the past 3 months? Do you feel good about it? Good. How can we keep that up? Because it's not always about evaluating, oh, what did I do bad? We also we must reflect and celebrate what went well. What did you do well? What worked out the way you desired? Celebrate that. Write it down. Because when we write things down, it's like reading it 10 times, and we want to impress that upon our minds that we did something great today. We need to celebrate ourselves as positive reinforcement. We need more positive reinforcement from ourselves. We need more confirmation and affirmation from ourselves, not from the outside world. We need it from right here, from self, from you, love bug. You need it from you. The second key that I have on my list is repression. So we have these things that we really want, and we really don't talk about them because we don't want to be judged, or because we don't really think that we could ever really make it happen in real life. So we just don't say anything. We just keep it in our hearts, or in the back of our minds, or maybe in our journals, in our diaries. That's repression. We have, when it comes to our desires, we got two options. We can either manifest our desires, or we can restrain our desires. So we have to decide right here and right now that we are no longer going to restrain what we desire. We are going to take the time to repress our dreams, because we've been suppressing our dreams. We've been suppressing our desires, our greatest desires. It's time to let it all out. And if you don't feel comfortable letting it all out to your friends, then let it all out on paper. Write it down. Write down what you really desire to have. Write down the lifestyle that you really desire to live. I don't care how fancy schmancy it is. I don't care if you desire to live in 5 different houses at the same damn time. Okay, that's your business. And you're capable of it. And you're deserving of it. And it desires you. Whatever you desire desires you. Your desires were planted in you for you to come after them. So what is it? Write it down. What are your dreams? What are some crazy activities that you would love to do? Whether you had the money or not, if somebody was just going to take you on an all-paid expense vacation experience for 2 weeks, what would you do in those 2 weeks? Where would you go? What would be on your list? Do you have a bucket list? You know, bucket lists are not just for old people who are about to die. Bucket lists are for all of us. We should all have a bucket list. We should all have some things that we really desire to do, whether we believe we can ever do them or not. Write them down. Allow them to have life. Allow them to be. Your desires deserve to be realities. Write that down. Your desires deserve to be realities. I need to write that down. So somebody type that in the chat box for me so I can remember for later. Because I've never said that, and that is powerful. Our desires deserve to be realities. That I can just end the show on that, but we still got some time to go, so let's move on. The third key on my ring is forgiveness. Now you're probably wondering, what does forgiveness have to do with success? What does forgiveness have to do with wealth? Well, let me explain it. Have you ever caught yourself scrolling on social media and you see somebody and you feel some type of way because they doing some stuff you wish you was doing? They living a life. They traveling around. They got the family. They got the wife and the children. They got the husband. They got it all. At least it looks like that, right? First of all, that's resentment. And it's not them that you are resenting. We really are resenting ourselves for not putting in the time, not putting in the effort, not putting in the energy, not doing the work to have that same lifestyle. You are not exempt from having what you desire. Everybody can have big things. Everybody can drive big cars and big trucks. Everybody can live in big houses. But only if you truly desire that and you allow yourself to have it. Forgive yourself for some of the things that you've done in the past that you just don't feel so proud about. Forgive yourself for where you are right now if you feel like you should have been further along. It's okay. You're doing just fine. Repeat that to yourself. I'm doing just fine. I'm doing just fine. And when somebody else has something to say to you, you say, thank you. I'm doing just fine. When people are judging you or judging where you are or what you have or what you don't have, you just say, thank you. I'm doing just fine. Forgive yourself and forgive the people who have implanted emotional poison or who have placed mental limitations on you, and you're realizing it now, like, oh my God, my mom always said this, or my dad always said this, and you have lived up to their small limitations. It's time for us to break those barriers. And part of breaking those barriers is with forgiveness, making a whole list of forgiveness. I would start with a list of things that you need to forgive yourself for. The things that you may need to forgive your God, your higher power for. And then let's roll on to the other people. Let's forgive them for certain experiences, for certain days, for certain things they've said. Let's get it all out on paper, because this forgiveness is going to set us free. Every time we forgive someone, it's like we're pulling that energetic cord back into ourselves, and now that energy goes into self. Because when we're not forgiving and we are holding on to resentment, it's like the energy is going everywhere. So pull that energy back into yourself by forgiving. Make your list of forgiveness immediately and reclaim the energy that belongs to you and that belongs to your dreams and your desires becoming realities. Number 4, chakra healing. So if you don't know what chakras are, they're not just these spiritual things, okay? They're scientific things. You can ask almost any professional boxer and they'll tell you they know what a solar plexus is. They know that they can knock somebody out if they hit them in that solar plexus. So that's one indicator that this is not just about spirituality. Chakras are energy centers going up and down our spine. And there's a whole 100 some odd chakras, but we're going to focus on those main 7. And healing our chakras allows us to unblock things that we never knew were holding us back. When you learn about chakras, you're like, oh, that's what's going on. When you take a chakra test, and you don't even have to know what chakras are, and you take a chakra test and you see which ones are underactive or overactive, and then you read what that's tied to, you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. So we need to do some chakra healing, starting with our root chakra and working our way all the way up to the crown. I don't care if it's just your heart chakra that's really underactive or overactive. We need to begin with our root. Everything begins with the root. Strengthen your root chakra. Then move on up to your sacral chakra, which is for pleasure and creativity. If you're lacking creative juices, that's probably some blockage in there. And we need to clear the pathways within our chakra system, going up and down our spine. Our spine is like an energy vortex. It's an energy line, like an elevator for energy to go up and down, for your ideas to go from that creative sacral chakra up to that third eye or to that throat to be spoken out. We want to clear all that up so that our truest manifestations can come to be. So that way we can clearly articulate ourselves. So that way we are clearly in tune and receiving the messages and the directions that we desire to go in. So we have to do some of this chakra healing, whether you're spiritual or not spiritual. Do your scientific work and do the work so that way you can take yourself to another level. Because we're talking about unlocking what's inside of us. And the chakras are inside of us. So we're running out of time. Let me move on to key number 5 to unlocking what's inside of you, which is a community. We have to have community, and community more than likely is not going to be your family. More than likely it's not going to be your friends from high school or from college. They're going to be a brand new set of people. You may not even know these people in real life, but you have to create a community that can support where you are. You have to create a community, and you don't have to create the community. You can tap into a community. Tap into a community of people who are working on the same things that you're working on. Tap into a community of people who believe how you believe. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So forget Facebook. Forget your Facebook friends. And start reaching out on these other social media apps. If you're on Instagram, you definitely can use some hashtags and find your friends. If you're on Clubhouse, you can search the Clubhouse hallways and find people who think like you. People who have the information that you are looking for. Be willing to be the weakest link in your chain. Quit trying to be the biggest fish in the pond. Quit trying to be the strongest or the smartest person in the room. Willing to be the most ignorant, which means you're lacking information. Willing to be the weakest. Willing to be the biggest student in the room. So that way you can grow and expand and be where you really desire. But you have to be around the right people, because we are an average of the 5 people we hang around. So if you hanging around people who ain't doing nothing all day, then guess what's going to happen to you eventually? You're not going to be doing nothing all day. If you're on the phone all day with your friends who gossip and talk about what other folks are doing, first of all, that's time that could be poured into what you are working on versus what somebody else is working on. Pour energy into your own stuff. Pour energy into your community. Don't just go into a community just to receive. You don't want to be an energy vampire. Tap into a community that you also can contribute to as well. So even if that community is people where you're the stronger, smarter person, show up in that space to give what you know, so that way more people can join you in your higher leveled community. But we definitely have to make sure that we are in the right space with the right people, the right community. Make it your business. Pick your friends. Don't let your friends pick you, because some people will just attach to you because they see you doing things and see where you're going and want to get involved with that. Don't let them just hang on to your coattails. If they want to be involved with what you got going on, make them do some work. They got to have some skin in the game. You want to be around other people who are high achievers, people who are go-getters. Stop hanging around these lazy folks who complain all the time about what's going on in their life. Hang around people who see challenges as opportunities to level up. Number 6, before we run out of time, accountability. That is such an important key to unlocking what's inside of you. Because if you can get away with not doing what you said you were going to do, guess what you're going to do? You're not going to do it. If you can get away with staying in the bed a little extra time, you're going to do it. If you can get away with not writing that chapter in your book just yet, you're going to do it. We need to be held accountable. So first of all, I am hoping that you tap into a community that will hold you accountable. But also your accountability comes from self, from your calendar. If you're writing on your calendar what your goals are, what you're going to do at what time on what day, forget them to-do lists. A to-do list is trash, man. A to-do list is for when you ain't got nothing else to do. If you're really serious about accomplishing things, if you're serious about leveling up, then it needs to be in writing. You need to have your goals in writing, and goals need to be in different areas of our life. We have 10 areas of life where I like to break people down into, so that way you can really see what's important, what's connected. But we have to hold ourselves accountable, most importantly. Write your goals on the wall so you can see them every day, so you can remember why you got up and what you're supposed to be doing. So if you do get off track, you can get back on track. Have a word that puts you back on track. So when you say this word, let's say, for example, it's millionaire. When you take 3 deep breaths and say millionaire, get you back on track. Okay, I was supposed to be doing this. Let me get off of this thumb scrolling. Because many of us are working our thumbs out all day, more than we are working out the rest of our fingers typing emails or doing what we really need to be doing to get where we desire to be. And that's what this whole conversation is about today, is being where we desire to be, because we deserve it. You deserve to have whatever is on your mind, whatever is in your heart. And I'm hoping today that you got these 6 keys to help you unlock that. If you are looking for a community of accountability, if you're looking for ways to people to tap into the 90-day program that I got coming up. We're about to kick it off in about a week, and we are not playing. We are spending 90 days to remove barriers of accountability and transformation. We call it Unlock the Next Level of You. It's time, love bugs. It's time for you to live the life that you desire. It's time for you to live the life that you deserve. Quit waiting. because it's waiting on you. This is Mimi the Motivator, your favorite motivator's favorite motivator. And I want to thank you for tuning in wherever you have tuned in. If you're listening to this later, I love that as well. And I will see you next week. I love you. Be happy. Be healthy. Be you. Bye-bye. YouTubers, thank you for sticking in to the end. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up. But you know what button I like the most is the share button. Share this episode with somebody if you enjoyed this today. I really appreciate it. Drop something in the comments and let me know where you're chiming in from. That's important to me. I want to know who I'm talking to because I love you and we in this together. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.